What amazing report, dear viewers. Have you seen this landscape, the nature, the mountains? Really amazing, isn't it, Fatma?
Yes, it is amazing. And dear viewers, I think we should take a trip there, Sarah, yes, because it's near Montenegro and Bosnia also. So the Piva River, it's actually one of the beautiful, beautiful rivers in Europe.
So we have to book a ticket and go to visit the river, isn't it?
Yes.
And now, dear viewers, we're back to our interview segment with our special guest. To introduce to you Mr. Khalid AlQoud. He's the chairman of Bahrain CSR Society.
Yes, he will take us on a tour for the old days when the ancients used to take their break in Bahrain after a long trading trip from Bombay to Kuwait.
And today you will still can spend your summer vacation in very modern country with fascinating summer attractions. So let's talk more about this topic. Let's welcome together Mr. Khalid AlQoud. Good morning, Mr. Khalid.
Very good morning to you, and thank you for inviting me to your show today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalid. First, we would like to hear from you about our brothers and sisters in Bahrain, one of my favorite countries, actually.
Well, you know, we always consider Kuwait as our second home, and also Bahrain is the second home for all our brothers and sisters in Kuwait. Bahrain, as you know, it is a beautiful country that welcomes everyone, and brothers and sisters in Bahrain will always welcome you and also be very happy to host you in their houses as well.
Thank you so much. Actually, I have a lot of friends in Bahrain and I love visiting Bahrain. So the summer is started already and a lot of people and families in Kuwait, they love to visit Bahrain. So let's talk about summer in Bahrain.
Well, to be very honest, we have a very unique summer along in the best part of the world because, you know, our summer is very hot. And people usually in this particular period of year travel to places which is a bit colder, or they go to places where they can enjoy the summer, just like the Far East. But think about it today. Bahrain is an island, and it's have a lots of attractive places to welcome people from all across the world. And in fact, recently, lots of people comes from the Far East, especially India, and they do their weddings in Bahrain.
Wow!
And they book like full hotels, and that shows that Bahrain became a world destination for people to come and visit, regardless of what is the season. So, being an island, being in the summer, Bahrain is the destination now.
Amazing, actually.
That is amazing, yes. And Mr. Khalid, we also would like to tell our dear viewers about Kuwait and Bahrain and having this old tie that connects them. And we want to know more about, you know, because it's been hundreds of years with this friendship and this brotherhood. And we want to know, how did Kuwaitis before, or tell us more about that when Kuwaitis used to take a break in Bahrain.
You had a very beautiful place in Kuwait called Mubarakiyah, and that's where I used to love to go and listen to the old people and their stories about how they used to get connected with Bahrain. So the connection between Bahrain and Kuwait is not a new connection or a relationship. So people in the old days used to travel from Kuwait all the way to India to bring all the goods from there. But when they wanted to have a rest, the center of that trip is Bahrain. And Bahrain was also well known in the past as it was the center of trade. And because of that relationship, so people who travel to go to other places and they just have their rest in Bahrain have also built a relationship with the families of Bahrain.
Yes.
And that's where today you can see that a lots of families is married to Bahrainis, or Bahrainis is married to Kuwaitis, and that relationship have been there for years and years. Even in the start of the welcoming of the trade in an official way, in the build of Bab al-Bahrain, which was built in 1948, if I'm not, That shows that, similar to the gates of any other countries, the gates is a welcoming structure that tell people, welcome to our country. And Bab al-Bahrain was the center of welcoming the trades of all across the globe, that you are welcome to the country and the trade is also there. But if you want to extend the talk about the relationship between the two countries, it's not something new, because even the relationship between our rulers, they are family members.
Exactly.
So it shows how is Bahrain is Kuwait and Kuwait is Bahrain.
It's true. And may I add also, Sarah, when I used to live abroad, I met a Bahraini woman, and we had chit-chats, and then one of my friends who's a foreigner came to me, and they were like, oh, you're also from Kuwait? And I said, I'm from Kuwait, she's from Bahrain. And she said, it's the same thing. And I said, yes, it is the same thing. I was so proud when she said, it's the same. It's Kuwait or Bahrain, it's the same, you know?
For sure, we are the same. From like hundreds of years, have that bilateral relationship. We have some relatives and family over there. So we are truly a one country.
Yes.
Exactly. So, Mr. Khalid, what actually make Bahrain is a really a rest place and enjoyment to enjoy your time, especially in summer? You mentioned some of people from India. They go to do some weddings actually in Bahraini hotels. So, what makes actually Bahrain really an attraction?
So what would you like to see in other countries all across the world? You can see it today in Bahrain. If you're in love with the sports, as example,
yes,
you will come to Bahrain and the Formula One is there. You want to go and do the skydiving, we have the gravity. You want to do any of those unique sports, you'll find them in Bahrain. You want to go and rest in an island where you can enjoy the beach as well, you'll find it in Bahrain. You want to entertain your children in playgrounds and all those unique activities for the children, you'll find it also in Bahrain. You want to go into those modern, advanced shopping malls.
Yes.
And you will find them in Bahrain. And that's also bring us to one of the malls that you can see, the couple of the names of the malls in Kuwait, they're in Bahrain, like the Avenues,
yes,
the city center, which is also available in Kuwait as well, and as well as in UAE. So name the activities that you want to see, and you'll find it in Bahrain. Bahrain is having a history of more than 4,000 years.
yes,
And that's when it was used to be called as a Dilman.
Yes.
So imagine that the whole world used to come to Bahrain because they thought in the very old days that Bahrain have the eternity water, and also they wanted to bury their beloveds in Bahrain.
That's beautiful.
So people used to come from all across the world and bury their beloved in Bahrain. And that's why Bahrain used to have the largest graveyard in the whole world, and the unique way of burying people. But look into the other thing. People goes to the Far East to enjoy the nature, enjoy the beach, and now they started to come to Bahrain. It's closer, very near, and they can find the same thing in a very affordable way. Plus, the language is there.
yes,
Yes.
exactly.
The language is also there. It's going to make things more easier. So people wants to go to Europe and enjoy a very historical buildings, which was built in the very old days, and enjoy some modern food as well, plus traditional food. And you can also find the same thing in Bahrain. Bahrain is unique, as we call it, not only because I'm from Bahrain. Bahrain is the land of peace. Even when Walt Disney wanted to do their first movie about pirates and the peace, they did it in Bahrain. And that's the Hamad and the Pirates.
Yes.
And so what will make Walt Disney come all the way to a small island called Bahrain to do their movies on?
Yes.
There is a reason behind that. Even the purity of jewelry, you will find it in Bahrain. Even Cartier, when he wanted to have the most pure pearls, he didn't go to any place. He came to Bahrain. And if you go today to the museum of Cartier, you'll find out that he was sitting with late Yusuf bin Ahmed Kanu,
Yes.
which is a very well-known businessman, which his empire till today is existing for 140 years.
Yes. Wow. Amazing.
So you will see that they came to Bahrain. So Bahrain was always the center of attentions from years and years.
Yes.
And it's, as we call it in our beautiful Gulf, it's the pearl of the Gulf.
The bear of the
Yes,
Gulf,
it's true.
for sure. It's a
Yes.
peaceful, actually, country. And you mentioned one about the historical places. I love Muharraq. It's the same as Barkia, isn't
Yes.
it?
Muharraq used to be, Muharraq is the old capital of Bahrain.
Yes.
And it had its legacy as a historical place.
Yes.
And even the beautiful accents of the people of
Yes.
Muharraq, which all the Gulf is in love with.
Yes.
So these are the things that is beautiful about Muharraq and Bahrain as well.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true. And Mr. Khalid, you also mentioned just before that, Bahrain is small in the area, yes. It is a small country in the area, but it's very big and huge in its value and the place and, what it did and all the deeds that Bahrain has done. And I think this is one of the things that we share with our dear brothers and sisters in Bahrain,
Yes.
that Kuwait and Bahrain are just small in the area. However, they are big, in the reputation, the world, the fingerprint that we've put.
For
And
sure.
we want to know more about tourism in Bahrain. And I have a question for our dear viewers also would like to know. Do you feel like tourism in Bahrain is supported from society in any kind?
Well, it is supported in a very big way that till today, if you were going to divide the society into the old historical places and people who was there and still there, they're still maintaining their heritage, they're still maintaining their productivity in making things as a handicraft. So till today, for hundreds of years, the handmade pottery is still there in Ali area. You can go and see them doing it by their hands. Our society is a welcoming society.
Yes.
The minute you land, the first thing that you will notice, a smile. Without you ask, you will see that people comes to you and says, would you like us to help you with anything? And not only this, we have brought up in a way that Bahrain should be the welcoming destinations for anyone. And today in Bahrain, as not only the society is supporting anyone who comes from abroad, we have built an example. So, name the religion. It's there in Bahrain and they are so peaceful, living next to each other. You can find the mosque next to a church, next to a temple, in one line.
Yes.
Coexisting.
Okay?
Yeah.
So the environment is a welcoming environment which made the society reflect the quality of the Bahrainis and how they welcome people and support them in all kind of their requests. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us united. That's what makes us the destinations for people to go and see those beautiful, let's say, hospitality and care and love as well.
Exactly. That's what I noticed actually once I visited Bahrain. They're really a kind, helpful people out there. They don't differentiate from each one another.
No,
it's
they
really
don't,
amazing actually country. Mr. Khalid, what kind actually of support afforded by the government of Bahrain to the tourism sector?
Well, Bahrain government is always in support for anyone, especially people who comes from abroad. And at this point, I would like also to thank our government for the new appointments of the new 17 minister, to extend this. Today we are also empowered by having ministers which is females,
Yes.
and who is also today in their today is their second day in their new ministry. The Ministry of Tourism is led by a female,
Wow.
which makes us very proud. looking into the support of the governments to the tourism sectors, imagine the thousands and thousands and thousands of people who comes for the formula.
Yes.
Look at the government support for that, logistic-wise, which includes transport, hotels, hospitality, airlines, directions, guides, marshals. That is an example of an international support of a government to its visitors. Have a look into today when you land in Bahrain airport. How long does it take you to just go from the door of the airplane to the taxi or to your transport? They have made the airport in such a way that is easy to get in and go out and receive all the support. Even for people who wanted some logistic part, became so easy for them to get it online. And Bahrain also supported everyone online as becoming one of the world best e-commerce as a government, as an e-government's commerce, e-government's platforms.
Yes.
Adding to this, look into the government support in providing the spaces for investments, which those investments turns to be as a hotels as examples, help the tourism in a way, and the last but not least, the government support to the history of Bahrain, and how Her Excellency Sheikh Hamay Al Khalifa have made Bahrain in the world map of bringing the world to see the history of Bahrain and rebuilding that history in a way to be documented with the United Nations and other international entity to show that the governments of Bahrain cares about its history, care about its visitors, care about its people, care about the logistic part, care about making Bahrain an international icon location that anyone who is looking for anything can find it in this beautiful country. Yes, it is small, but big in heart.
Very big. It's true. It's true.
It's
That was
huge.
very beautiful.
That's really beautiful.
Yes.
How he described, actually, Mr. Khalid, his country. Actually, we're going to book a ticket to visit country this
You're
summer.
most welcome.
Yes,
You're
yes, of
most
course. The
welcome.
Kingdom of Bahrain is actually one of my favorite destinations,
Yes.
whether in summer or in winter. We want to thank you, Mr. Khalid, for everything you've said and the beautiful information and details that you have mentioned for our sister country, the Kingdom of Bahrain.
It's always a pleasure to be in my second home, Kuwait, and I'm very happy with your show. I actually watch it every day.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Mr. Khalid. So, dear viewers, we had with us Mr. Khalid AlQoud. He's a chairman of Bahrain CSR Society.